Hey, craft beer fans! Welcome back to Clashing Pumpkins, the epic pumpkin beer tournament with Sugashane. If you missed the Pies to the Face clash in episode 4, click the icon on your screen and go watch right now. If you already watched, get pumped for the semi-final round. Night Owl and Pumpkin Barrel Ale clash for a spot in the finals. Now let's check out our bracket.
Here's our bracket of the final 4 pumpkin brews ready to clash. Last time, Pumpkin Ale won a messy pumpkin pie fight and stripped Pumpkin of their crown. Which pumpkin pour will carve out a spot in the finals? Night Owl and Pumpkin Barrel Ale battle for a shot at the title. Now let's get clashing.
Final judgment time? Already? No. Actually, even better. In the semi-final round, we're cranking up the heat. Instead of going through our 5 categories with each beer individually, we're going head-to-head the whole time. So what we'll do is we'll take a sip of each beer with our usual Cheez-It in between, and then we'll name a winner for each of the 5 categories. And then once we get through our 5 categories, we'll have our final judgment time as usual. Now let's get clashing. Let's start with aroma and see which of these brews smells the best. Here we go with beer number 1, Night Owl from Elysian Brewing. Oh yeah, tons of pumpkin aroma there, and a really nice spice complement. I get like cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, so that's a really nice variety there. Now, obviously, we didn't take a sip, so we don't need a Cheez-It. I mean, I'm not going to put a Cheez-It up my nose for the aroma portion. I mean, maybe you might want to see that, but I'm not going to do that. All right, let's go to beer number 2, Pumpkin Barrel Ale from Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company. All right, so obviously this one's barrel-aged, so I'm getting a lot of bourbon, pretty prevalent vanilla notes. The pumpkin is there, but it's not predominant. So in the aroma area, we're going with Night Owl. All right, now pumpkin flavor quality. Let's start with Night Owl again. Yeah, really nice, fresh, intense pumpkin. Like I said with the aroma is very similar to the taste. I get, like I said, allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg. Yeah, the pumpkin flavor quality with this one is definitely like A- grade. Now, Cheez-It break. That palate cleanser is really important, you know, especially in these semi-final rounds. I don't want to skew anything, so palate cleanser is definitely important. All right, pumpkin flavor quality for Pumpkin Barrel Ale. Similar to the aroma, the pumpkin is not the predominant flavor here. It's more of that bourbon, vanilla, oaky kind of thing, and there's really no spice element to this compared to number 1 over here. So in the pumpkin flavor quality category, Night Owl is 2-0 so far. Now let's move on to mouthfeel. All right, time to check the mouthfeel. Back to Night Owl. Overall, pretty light. There is a nice little tingle from the spice profile. I wouldn't say that this is drying. It doesn't really dry out your palate. It keeps it nice and moist from start to finish, which is nice. All right, Cheez-It time. Okay, the Cheez-It is gone. All right, mouthfeel for beer number 2, Pumpkin Barrel Ale. So the mouthfeel for this compared to Night Owl is actually like kind of creamy. It's a little bit more viscous, I would say. It's definitely warm. I think we did go over that in the other episode where we featured this beer. There is a noticeably warm mouthfeel, most likely, the whole bourbon barrel aging thing, the bourbon traces, that's going to warm you up pretty good. It does kind of dry out a little bit, not crazy. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it is a tad dry at the end, which is not a surprise with a barrel-aged brew, but it's still very smooth, so this is actually a pretty tough decision between these two. I think, I think between the two of these, as far as the whole mouthfeel thing, I think this one has a little bit of an edge. Just because there's more of a presence. This other beer, it's like, yeah, it's light and you get a little bit of the spice content, but I think as far as like the mouthfeel experience, I think Pumpkin Barrel Ale kind of wins this category. So far we got 2-1. Now let's move on to the next category, body. Now, let's see who has the edge in the body category. Back to beer number 1, Night Owl. This is more on the light to medium range. I mean, it doesn't really register that high in the body meter, if you will. That's kind of an easy thing to identify with this beer, but all right, the Cheez-It is gone. Now, let's assess the body for beer number 2, Pumpkin Barrel Ale. Oh yeah, this is like night and day difference between Night Owl and Pumpkin Barrel Ale. This guy is full-bodied, textbook, whatever you want to call it, full-figured, just way more body to this beer than this guy over here. So now, if we look at the scoreboard, we're tied, 2-2. So, next category is drinkability, and that's going to be the deciding factor here, I think. All right, it's time for the tiebreaker, drinkability. We're knotted up at 2-2 right now, so it's coming down to the final category here. Let's start off with the winged guy over here, Night Owl. This is just a classic example of an extremely drinkable beer. I mean, it's lighter, so that helps. That's definitely an advantage in the drinkability department. The spice profile really kind of, helps you want more. I mean, this is just a nice drinkable beer. It's easy. It's free and easy. You can just kind of down this. I mean, I'm not saying you should. You should probably savor it because it is pretty damn good. But you could chug one of these. Not even shitting you. I mean, despite the spice, it's not like one of those goddamn Starbucks, friggin' coffees or something. Like, the spice with this is nice enough that, it's not overpowering. You could easily friggin' shotgun one of these if you wanted to. I mean, you have to drill a frickin' hole in the side of the glass, but hey, knock yourself out if that's what you want to do. Cheez-It time. Okay, the Cheez-It is down the hatch. So, drinkability for Pumpkin Barrel Ale. Well, I think there's a few areas that are major disadvantages for pumpkin barrel ale in the drinkability category. Number one is 10%, and this guy is only 6.7. So, obviously, if you're looking at ABV, this is more potent. It just is. That's just the fact of the matter. It is a little bit drier. We kind of went over that before. Like I said before, going back to the mouthfeel category, I love the warm mouthfeel with this one that's associated with the whole bourbon aspect. I absolutely love that. But as far as drinkability goes, it's just not quite there. So I think, looking at the scoreboard here, Night Owl takes the drinkability portion and puts him up 3-2. And there's not any categories left to go over, so at this point, it's not looking too good for pumpkin barrel ale, but we still have our final judgment category, so we'll be right back with that. Don't you just love that riff for spooky season? It's awesome, right? Anyways, it's final judgment time. Now, we already went over the scoreboard, 3-2, but hey, final judgment, anything goes. So, let's start off with Night Owl, our owl friend over here. This guy really just has the whole package. Easy to drink, plenty of pumpkin flavor, the spice profile is fantastic. It doesn't dry your mouth out whatsoever. Nice and easy to drink. It smells freaking awesome. If that matters, which it does because it's part of our 5 categories. This is a real friggin' contender. There's no other way about it. So, let's take our Cheez-It break, and we'll get to this guy. All right, the Cheez-It is gone. So, final judgment time for Mr. Pumpkin Barrel Ale. Okay, well, overall, I friggin' love this beer. Every fall, I look forward to snagging a 4-pack. I know they're not that cheap, but hey, you're paying for the bourbon part. There's no pumpkin spice to this. It's just non-existent. I don't know what else to say. As far as the whole package, like I said before, I love the whole mouthfeel portion of this with the warmness and all that. But, this is a pumpkin beer tournament. It's not a barrel-aged pumpkin beer tournament or just a barrel-aged beer tournament in general. So, I hate to do this, but hey, we're going into the semifinals. We're determining who's going into the final friggin' round here. So, I can't mince words. I can't skew things based on favorites, but Night Owl, you're flying into the friggin' finals, dude. You got it. If you want to see the rest of this epic Clashing Pumpkins tournament, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and go ahead and follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and you're going to see all of the clashes. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and cheers, dear friends!